Namaste, Salam Sejahtera and good evening and a warm welcome. On behalf of Netaji, Subhas Chandra Bose, Indian Cultural Center, it is my immense pleasure and pride in welcoming you all for today's occasion, the Felicitation Ceremony for the artists of National Day reception and official visit of Honorable Prime Minister of India. Respective guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate a historic and a proud achievement of Swagatam dance performance by about 800 dancers, a moment that will forever remain in our hearts. In fact, rather than my talking about it, let's all take a look back. With that, the performance earned a place in the Malaysia Book of Records for the most performers in Indian traditional dance. Congratulations to everyone. With that, may I kindly request Ms. Vijayalakshmi Sundararajan, Director, Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center, to address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to welcome His Excellency Shri B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, Mr. Teleraj, President of Temple of Fine Arts, Padma Shri Datu Pramli, Ibrahim, Chairman of Sutra Foundation, Datu Navesh Khanna, Director of MI Cultural Events, which had coordinated the Indian community event at Mines, Dr. George Thomas, CEO of Malaysian Association for the Blind, Mr. Manoj Nair, Director GIIS, Srimati Tavamalar Gunaratnam, and Srimati Vatsala Shivadas, the Senior Directors from TFA. All the respected heads of dance institutes, cultural organizations, gurus and representatives of the community organizations and media outlets who are gathered here today. Welcome to Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center of the High Commission of India. On 7th February 2026, at the Mines International Exhibition and Convention Center, during the Salamat Datang Modi Ji Indian Community event held to welcome Honorable Prime Minister of India Shri Narendra Modi, nearly 800 dancers from across Malaysia came together in a specially curated performance. What the audience witnessed on that day was not just a dance presentation, it was a living embodiment of our shared heritage. This performance became one of the defining highlights of the Prime Minister's entire visit, as it beautifully showcased the deep cultural connect between India and Malaysia. Even more significantly, this historic presentation has been officially entered in the Malaysia Book of Records for featuring the largest number of performers in a traditional Indian dance performance. A recognition that belongs to each and every participating institution, guru and performer present here. It all had started with a meeting for brainstorming ideas in TFA with a number of teachers and gurus. This was followed by a beautiful choreographed dance sequence by Mr. Shankar Kandaswamy, set to an excellent musical score arranged by Ms. Jyotsna Prakash. They brought together diverse dance traditions into one harmonious visual spectacle. This in turn was then followed by countless meetings, meticulous planning, an incredible amount of time and effort put in by our 6-member core coordinating committee, comprising of Srimati Indira Manikal, Srimati Shangita Namashivayam, Srimati Gayatri Ramesh, Srimati Deepa Rajendran, and Srimati Vinushri Shankar, both of whom who unfortunately are not here as they are in India, and our ICC teacher, Ms. Priyadashini Sangyan. Each of these gurus, heads of institutions, coordinators of the various community organizations who are present here, through their hard work and effort thereupon, trained their students and members, held countless rehearsals separately for enabling a seamless execution of this grand presentation. In fact, several dance institutes collaborated with NSCBICC for the very first time through this initiative. I take this opportunity to warmly welcome you to the NSCBICC family. And I look forward to remaining in touch with all of the institutes and building many more meaningful partnerships in the future. In conclusion, I'd like to place on record our deepest appreciation for the support extended by each and every one of you. It has been an absolute honor for NSCBICC and the High Commission of India to work closely with you all, who collaborated so wholeheartedly and unselfishly with us. Your unstinting support and spirit of cooperation has made what seemed impossible at the beginning totally possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Behind this grand event, there stands a dedicated team working with vision. The success of Swagatam and this remarkable achievement would not have been seen and possible without the coordination of our esteemed co-coordinating committee. With that, may I kindly request the members of the co-coordinating committee, Natuvatilagam Srimati Indra Manikam, Srimati Gayatri C. Ramesh, Srimati Shankita Namasivayam, and Ms. Priyadarshini Sanya. Besides them, Srimati Vinoshri Shankar and Srimati Deepa Rajendra are also part of the co-coordinating committee. They are currently in India and hence unable to join us today. May I invite the co-coordinating committee to come on stage to share their thoughts and experience on their journey. We will begin with Srimati Shankita Namasivayam.
His Excellency Shri D.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, Srimati Vijayalakshmi Sundarajan, Director Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center, respected gurus and representatives of over 46 dance institutions and community organizations in Malaysia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to place on record the extraordinary journey of Swagatam, a performance specially choreographed and presented by the Malaysian Indian diaspora to welcome Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. Today, this effort stands proudly recorded in the Malaysian Book of Records as the largest number of Indian traditional dancers to have performed together on one stage. This achievement was truly a Herculean task that demanded resilience, teamwork, dedication, and countless hours of tireless commitment from volunteers across many fields of expertise. This journey is going to take a little while. Please bear with me. I have so many stories to share. At the very outset, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Srimati Vijayalakshmi Sundarajan, who spearheaded this entire event. Thank you, ma'am, for your unwavering confidence in us, the core team. More than anything else, I bow to your extreme patience. Words fall short in describing it. We overwhelmed you constantly with questions, queries, concerns, doubts, and yet you always gave us your time and a listening ear. With a smile, you would constantly reassure us that everything would be all right. From your leadership, ma'am, we take away invaluable lessons in grace, endurance, and faith. So this journey began with Sri Shankar Fine Arts beautifully choreographing this piece to suit the classical music director, adding depth and soul to the production. Responsibility of bringing together over 46 institutions spanning both classical and other Indian dance forms from across this undertaking, filled with constant revisions and challenges that needed continuous monitoring. Our dedicated dance gurus trained their students to perfection within an incredibly short period of time. The ICC appointed core group comprised of Srimati Indra Manikam, Srimati Deepa Rajendra, Srimati Gayatri Ramesh, Srimati Vinoshri Shankar, Priyadarshini Sanyal, and myself. Deepa Rajendra, together with the ICC members, faced the formidable challenge of designing grid formations for nearly 800 dancers. This required precise spatial calculations and constant adjustments as names and numbers kept changing right until the final moments. This was perhaps the greatest logistical challenge of this entire, many late nights helping us update constantly evolving spreadsheets. Deepa also choreographed the folk version, enabling an additional 300 dancers to participate. She tirelessly sent out teaching videos and trained them batch by batch personally. Gayatri Ramesh, as head of the Malaysia Bharatanatyam Dance Association, managed multiple schools, an enormous responsibility indeed, and still without any notice to attend an emergency meeting. With her ever-smiling presence, she coordinated rehearsals and yet found the time to perform in this mega event. Vinoshri Shankar travelled long distances to assist wholeheartedly, from venue mapping to rehearsals and coordination. Priyadashini, ICC's Kathak teacher, skillfully adapted this piece to suit Kathak and remained a quiet but steady pillar of support. And dear Indra Manikam Akka, like an older sister, guided us with her vast experience and wisdom, despite her hectic travel schedule. She was our moral anchor. So we conducted 2 major rehearsals here at the ICC, each involving over 130 dancers. This in itself was a mega exercise indeed. Coordinating these rehearsals, refining synchronization, and perfecting each segment batch by batch required immense time, focus, patience, and physical endurance. Hairstyling and accessories, every detail was communicated meticulously so that on stage the visual achieve. When we visited the venue the previous day, our hearts sank. Big smile on her face. We realized the scale improvement, and many uncertainties still stared back at us. That was a moment of complete surrender. It was merely on planning and preparation, but in faith. Faith in our team, faith in our collective spirit, faith in the grace that had carried us thus far. Then came show day. A massive logistical operation was executed to transport nearly 800 dancers to the venue and safely back. Teacher coordinators were assigned to each bus to ensure that this entire movement of people was super efficiently managed by our dedicated volunteers and teacher coordinators. At the venue, the mammoth task of positioning each dancer accurately on their designated grids began. Once again and once again, formations had to be rearranged, realigned, and recalculated. Stress levels were soaring. Every gap had to be addressed. Once revised placements were completed, coordinators moved across the stage conducting final checks, ensuring costumes were uniform, gungrus or chalanges properly tied, jewelry secure, and even spectacles removed to ensure visual consistency. And then, finally, we were ready to go. We must also place on record the invaluable support from the staff of the Cultural Centre. Updating constantly changing dancer statistics was no small feat. From allowing us to use grid labels throughout the night, to physically drawing the grid labels on the stage on the morning of the event, and Yashila, your support was truly commendable. We coordinators remain deeply grateful. Malaysia is home to one of the largest Indian diasporas in the world. This welcome dance by the Malaysian Indian community received an overwhelming response from Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. As he remarked, this performance will be remembered for a long time to come. Every contribution, every sacrifice of sleep, every rehearsal, every spreadsheet revision, every bead of perspiration, it was all worth it. And so, as we close this chapter, let us remember that this record is not merely about numbers. It is about unity. It is about heritage. It is about what can be achieved when a community comes together with one heart, one rhythm, one purpose. May Swagatam stand not only as a record in a book, but as a shining testament to the spirit, resilience, and cultural pride of the Malaysian Indian community.
உலகெல்லாம் உணர்ந்து ஓதற்கரியவன் நில உலாவிய நீர்மணி வேலியன் அழகிற் ஜோதியன் அம்பலத்தாடுவான் மலர்ச்சிலப்படி வாழ்த்தினான். A very good evening to all of you, His Excellency, High Commissioner of India, B.N. Reddy, Padma Shri Ramli, Madam Vijayalakshmi, to all the datos and to the teachers who are present here. A very good evening to all of you. I think Sangeeta has told the whole journey of this Swagatam dance already. So I think there's nothing much I can say about it. But I will say the hard work of all, in every productions we have the same problem. Or what is happening behind people may not know. We will be all those in every productions. I'm sure all the teachers will know what is happening behind. But in front we have to produce it in a very nice way. And the first thing I should thank Madam Vijayalakshmi for bringing this idea of getting all these dances together. Thousands dances. Actually we had it earlier once. We have at the time our Prime Minister was. We had quite a number of, and next we had the other 7th or 8th or 7th or 8th, and we kept on, and that's where we couldn't get much of our dances to perform together. I also had so much of problem. And in the world I'm celebrating our 60th anniversary of my dance school, and for me to see all these dances together, all these, when I saw them all together, I had happy tears. My tears was falling from my eyes. I couldn't believe it. How did this girl solve it? I was so worried whether something could go wrong, because it's different. Because Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, Odissi, and all this folk dance all coming together and following the same style of what our Shankar has choreographed. But even we were telling how are these people going to do, because everybody have their different movement. But everything went on very well. That's why I said I had happy tears and I had goosebumps, I would say. It was such a wonderful experience. But I should always thank the teachers who have trained, all the teachers you are sitting there. Of course the dance was choreographed, but within a few, I think not 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, and some of you all only, I heard that you all have only tried to manage to practice only about few. You all came forward and you all did a wonderful job. That's what I should say. That is what we have brought all the dancers under one umbrella. That is, Malaysian dancers has come under one umbrella. Proud of it to see all of you here and all the teachers are here. I'm very, very happy, and I thought my dream has come true. Bringing you all together, and you all did a wonderful job. And keep it up. This spirit must be there. As we say, this has brought a history, I will say. It is not only a dance, it has brought a history. And for Malaysian dancers to perform like this, the whole world has watched. And recently I went for a function in Bangalore. Even there they were talking about this. And they were very happy to meet me there because I've been part of it. So that's a wonderful thing you all have done. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Respected His Excellency Shri B.N. Reddy, Dr. Sri Ramli, and respected heads of organizations, Madam Vijayalakshmi Sundararajan, Director of NSCBICC, and respected gurus. It was an overwhelming experience. I'm here to share the experience not only as a dance teacher, as the president, organizing, but to stand there as a performer, it was goosebumps. It is, I've been performing for 50 years, but this is a very memorable experience. Thank you so much to the organizers, High Commissioner. The idea to do this, the brainstorming, visual to trust us, and to even now go into the Malaysia Book of Records. I never even thought of that. When Madam Vijayalakshmi called up and said, we need to do this, we've got 2 weeks, we were like, huh? Because it is always a fear, because we started in October, it didn't go through. Okay? Then came the date, February 1st, it was the 7th. First was the 8th, sorry. And as the saying goes, the third time's the charm. We nailed it, mega nailed it on the third attempt. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing in us, the Malaysian dancers. On behalf of all the Malaysian traditional dancers of the Malaysia Bharatanatyam Dance Association was to bring together all the Bharatanatyam dancers. But here in this platform, you have brought together not just the Bharatanatyam dancers, but dancers of all forms. And there were styles that I have not seen before, like Yakshagana, and it was so beautifully done. There was so much inspiration, togetherness. The synergy, the magic is just the give and take policy, which I totally admire. Everyone from Madam Vijayalakshmi to the entire team and the secretariat. It was already overwhelming as the president to just deal with our members. And when we cancelled it twice, they actually called me back, Gayatri, you really think this will go through or what will happen? So I said, no, all's well, it's going to be a bullseye, it's going to be a mega event, please trust and let's let the process go on, just register. Then came another hiccup. Registering process itself was a challenge. I couldn't get the form, I can't get the form. Everyone was calling me one after one, and who did I go back to? Poor Mr. Bala. So all the arrows I got, I redirected it to him, and he patiently said, yes, teacher, it will come. And then they will call me back, it didn't come. So there was this whole drama of this registration forms. Now that drama finished, we got the registrations right. It didn't tally. My records and their records never tallied. I'm like, what is going on? I'm just dealing with 300 people and I can't get the 300 sorted. Can you imagine? They are dealing with the entire 800. My poor daughter Anaga Lakshmi Ramesh Kumar was my right hand. Amma, how many times are we changing this? I said, it doesn't tally. Their records are not tallying. So then we had to ask a secretariat who's so hard working. They actually filtered to see who is not telling, and guess what? My registration didn't go through. I was not registered. Why? No idea, because my name was too long, I guess. So, imagine Smita calling me, teacher, you are not registered. I'm like, huh? I registered so long ago. Again, let's try. The patients, the entire secretariat are actually, with the guidance of Madam Vijay Lakshmi, such an inspiration, and they are so patient. Thank you so much. This is the mechanics of the secretariat. I need to say a few words of Miss Sangeeta, teacher. She is amazing. Okay, I've known her for all these years, but I've never worked together with Sangeeta teacher, not Deepa teacher, not Vinodshri. I've never really worked with them, but you brought us all on her feet. Let's do this sample, let's do this. I had lots of counts. The music in this count, how? I was getting counts. Before that, already Sangeeta teacher sprung into action, and there she did a video already. So that was such an immediate response. Thank you to both Rita and Shobita, who were so cooperative. That is the word. When we did our first demo video to see how we can match with the folk and Kathak, okay, the Odissi teachers were very kind to say, okay, we will dance the same style. Mohiniyattam said that we will dance the same style. Everyone else said that they can work together. But Deepa teacher said, this is impossible for our folk people to dance this. We need to brainstorm. So then Priya teacher also said, yeah, let's rework, because certain gestures are not in Kathak. This is not right. So let's redo. So we spent so many hours just doing the 6 videos that we sent out. So that was the first time we were actually working together, and the spirit of togetherness, the spirit of making sure we all have only one goal to reach. That is, we wanted it as simplified as possible for our initial target of 1,000 dancers to train. And it was a beautiful moment. It's priceless experience. Thank you so much to everyone. Amazing. And Priya teacher there was so much of like, let's do this step or let's do that step. That magical moments, only if I share it, you will all know it, because you all just saw it as videos being sent out to the dance teachers. And after the videos were sent out, my humble pranams and thank you to all the dance teachers who painstakingly did the counts and did such a good magical synchronization that we just had 3 rehearsals here and bingo we were done. Wow. That is a miracle, because it was not a 2-minute sector. The music was so beautifully done. Not only was it just Swagatam, you even had Hamsadhwani Ragam interspersed, and then you had all the prayers as well interspersed. That was so beautifully laid down, and it was such a meaningful dance. Thank you to Temple of Fine Arts and the brains, Jyotsna and Shankarana. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us in this journey. The most touching moments are this, okay? Event finished, event done, that alone was not there. The humanitarian touch of Madam, she keeps in touch, she asks us for feedback, she appreciates our feedback. The rule was, we need to sit there from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Okay? Sit there for 6 hours. And I said, the belt will poke me. So we negotiated, and she allowed us to negotiate. She allowed us to share our challenges, put the makeup. So Madam first said, no, we must leave by 8 o'clock, we must be there by 12 o'clock. We tried explaining. To put the makeup, we need to start 2 hours earlier. Then after that, we need to travel for 1 hour. She listened, she bothered, she took the effort. Thank you so much. The belt was poking even me sitting there, So I tried explaining, and she actually bothered. And that is something that truly touched us all dancers. Thank you so much. Organizers have events, and after that, bingo, it's all done, finished, forgotten. You all have gone the extra mile to do this appreciation, to place on records, and everybody's participation is truly valued, and I'm sure you all feel valued too today. And that is the mega difference. Thank you so much from the bottom of all our hearts to High Commissioner and Madam Vijayalakshmi and the organizers, whoever participated. They allowed us to share our views. The lights were not there. The stage is so shaky. How is the platform? They allowed us to share. That is the magic and the synergy which made this event. We had so many tides against us, so many. I mean, there's no way I can list it all up here. But her mantra, Madam's mantra will always be, she said, don't worry, always. It was not just well, it was super duper well. Thank you so much. And with that, thank you for listening patiently to our stories too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was very touching story, very nice story. In fact, I was there for their rehearsal. These nice teachers were nicely talking, but when during the time, especially during the rehearsal, they really turn into a teacher mode. So you can see how they will be, doesn't matter whose student you are, they will be still doing their part. Thank you very much once again to the core coordinating committee for all the efforts and support.
Thank you, Bala. Thank you. Well, before, and we look forward to the support. And we are seeing it already. Of course, the doyens of Temple of Fine Arts, the Devis. But today I think we have two of the Devis here, Madam Vatsala Shivadas and Madam Mallar. And of course, all of them have been constant guidance and support to committee members whose stories and their trials and tribulations we've just heard, and I'll add a few more to what you said. Madam Indira Manikam, Madam Shangita Namasivayam, Madam Gayatri Ramesh, Madam Deepa Rajendra, and of course our Priyadarshi Sanyal, who is our own ICC Kathak dance teacher. And then, of course, we have Dato George Thomas, CEO of the Malaysian Association of Blind. I think he's joining us soon. Mr. Manoj Nair, who is also the country director of the Global International Indian School. Dato Navesh Khanna, I think the one who is sitting quietly and watching the spectacle going on here, is the director of the MI Cultural Events, I think, who did the entire Salamat Datang Modiji event. With all the participants. Can you just rise for a minute, Dato? And of course, other distinguished gurus, directors of dance academies, cultural and community organizations in Malaysia, and very young artists, who many of them couldn't be here because of the space constraints. Of course, our own director, Vijayalakshmi, director of the Culture Center, and Mr. Naveen Ramakrishna, Councillor, Community Affairs. Thank you. Nandri Vanakkam. Well, I think a lot has been said, I think, about the event and the very elements of this. All that I can say is we are actually celebrating today the moment of our cultural history between our two countries, Malaysia and India. The origins of this event go back too long, and I think I do recall when we first coined this idea sometime in June, July last year, as we knew that the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, is likely to be in Kuala Lumpur in October, and this one idea was deliberated in the High Commission with Director ICC. We set the ambition very high, simply because my own personal experience of Malaysia being almost the 7th year, 3 years before and now 4 years, I said to myself, what is it that we can present to the Prime Minister of India when he comes here? It can't be just a couple of dance items. We should be able to bring out that rich cultural heritage, deeply sung, deeply hidden, but exhibited in various platforms throughout the year under different cultural values and different dance forms, and such eminent gurus in Malaysia. I think it was this thought that we said, okay, shall we look at doing a kind of event which is as big as 1,000? And I remember Director Vijay was telling me that day, I think we should go for it. And she did a trial, as you call the kite diplomacy, it's just to put the kite and then say, okay, well, in which direction the wind is blowing. And then she came down and said, sir, we have 1,200 registrations. And this was in the month of August, September last year. But there was a lot of disappointment as October came and passed by, which has been very, very aptly presented to us by Srimati Gayatri Ramesh a while ago. And we also felt it was actually a dulling moment for all of us in the High Commission, saying that, look, we should aspire to do something very similar at a very short notice. I must say that among many others which also happened during the visit, we had to have a community event. I said there can be no better time and place than when we have the Indian community event being held in Kuala Lumpur, where the scale of it being talked about was 12 to 15,000. Venues were finding, obviously, there was always a challenge of, there's one more challenge which I must mention, which was the organizers of the event compelling us on the space. And they said, look, how can we give so much of space, because we will have so much less participants coming and participating in the larger community event. I said, come on, let's find a harmonious balance. I think balance was stuck around somewhere 800, I think. Thank you, Dr. Navesh, for being accommodative on that account, because it was again a very remarkable kind of combination of things. When this Swagatam, Suswagatam and Shubha Swagatam idea was coined, and it was so evident that when Director Vijay came to me and said, we have taken the help of none other than the legend in our Shankar Kandaswamiji, and also our colleagues in the Temple of Fine Arts, who all had these deliberations in this occasion that passed by. I think to have it as a welcome to the Honorable Prime Minister, but here the bonus that we had was the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, and added momentum in our own way, and also the added appeal to the larger audience, not just in India, but also certainly in Malaysia in several ways. So, as one of the delegates who came by and also witnessed this, literally told me that, well, we see a civilizational embrace. We see this, such a deep connect presented in such a what we call elegant manner, bringing together the art and cultural forms of India and Malaysia to the Malaysian audience as well as to the global audience. By the way, I must tell you that YouTube, if you happen to see where the Prime Minister's uploaded this link, it has crossed 110,000 already views. So I think it continues to go. Because this, I think, sometimes we might wonder what it is. And many of the ambassador colleagues of mine who called me and also keep asking this question, how did this happen, etc., etc. Now, apart from telling them to watch the video, but also will try and air some of the comments that are made today of the nuts and bolts of having to organize such an event with the core committee, with the participation of all the gurus of various cultural and dance academies, is, I think, truly a kind of a experiment of its kind, which came out with flying colors. And I'm very happy to see that you are happy at the end of it, because It is easy to conceptualize certain, certain events, but to execute them, the challenges that are associated, and to go through those challenges. I've been updated all along. Various issues present themselves at the venue. We all felt very. It was a challenging time because of the security challenges that we've had. Quite apart from making the arrangements in place, and also you have to do the rehearsals on the same day. All of it came out in a manner that, despite the hardships, if I have to use the word, that we all have gone through, the final product which came out has been widely appreciated in India. I do have so many calls from our friends in India saying that, wow, we didn't know that this is possible in Malaysia. This is actually there in Malaysia. That's such great cultural connect that we have, those who visit Malaysia can see it, can feel it, can carry it forward, but then those who are seeing from distant lands, it has not been possible. So again, as you all mentioned, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, did talked about the harmonies, used the word, said 800 odd dancers in perfect harmony. That's the first, I think, word. And second, talking about how it will be remembered by our peoples for years to come. I do recall, as Honorable Prime Minister leaving India at the airport before he boarded the aircraft, he did mention to me about how happy he felt about the overall event and also the cultural performance. I think this is something etched in the minds of leaders of both countries. And in fact, if you observed, soon after the presentation of the dance performance, before the Prime Ministers were invited to speak, he came rushing towards the artist. He really wanted to reach out to you, but the security challenges one had to confront, and it is here. I think the admiration really is about the scale, coordination, discipline, and the aesthetic excellence that you all are able to present, which is, I think, a remarkable achievement in many ways. And again, we talk of records. I think we spoke of why it is not simply a record of its kind. The way I see it and we see it, it actually means that how dedicated you have been as gurus and driving your students and performers to be able to commit to the last moment. So this is a commitment of what we see from Indian context, India's context, let's use the word. This is an intergenerational commitment. You've all been able to exhibit, and quite apart from that, again, it's also a record of Malaysia's deep and living engagement with India's cultural heritage. So we can have many records listed, it's just not the Malaysian Book of Records. I think this is what I think has really touched the hearts and minds of people in India. And here, bringing together the various dance forms. I think that was truly, of all possible dance forms, classical as well as folk, we were made aware of the huge challenges. This is where again I go back to my own dear friend, Mr. Shankar Swami, and also the choreographer, Madam Josna Prakash. All of you, through your guidance and through your other teachers' active involvement, you have been able to overcome them. But I am very glad to hear today what are those nitty-gritties that are involved in trying to synchronize this dance in such a wonderful manner. I think this is where our respect and our let's say gratitude to all of you has gone 10 notches above after hearing your journey to make this event possible. And let me again touch upon this, which has been quite well articulated, is about the special tribute that we like to pay to all gurus who are in the room, and the artistic directors, and also the leaders of the community organizations, because I think it is important. I'm very happy to hear that some of you are associating for the first time with our cultural center, and I'm sure we have opportunities to continue to work together and make this journey more, let's say, walking together in several ways, and also taking this forward. As I was saying, of course, we have heard the different challenges of rigorous rehearsals on site. Again, the kind of nitty-gritties that are involved with Dr. Navesh. In fact, one of the senior delegates who came by after the event, they said, oh, your visit is over now. Prime Minister's visit will go down well, because this welcome, which has been presented to the Prime Minister of India, and thereby I call this sometimes talk of economic corridors, digital connectivity, which we did all of the relationship. We have been enriched from day one. From the hour our Prime Minister landed, he came straight to the event, and the first thing he looks at is the Swagatam, Suswagatam, and Shubha Swagatam. The foundations for success of the visit. And for this, once again, thank you very much. And we also had these associated activities I must place on record, because we also had a welcome at the hotel. And it is here I also personally want to thank Madam Sujetra Jayasilan and her performers for doing the Tirumurai recital in great admiration. And of course, you also for joining us at the National Day celebrations, which was on the 27th of January last month. This again, I want to also acknowledge Mr. Ganeshan for Nadaswaram and Tamil performance at various venues at session level talk, and they move in for the lunch here. And suddenly what happens at the luncheon is another marvelous thing, which again has been a connect which soon after the official engagements, we had Padma Shri Datu Ramli Ibrahim performing what we call the Odissi Mangala Charanam. I think it was performed, and later there was also Guru Deva Prasad Das, your own mentor, Dato. I think photo session was happening. I think, Dato, you mentioned that Prime Minister comes in. I think it is a very touching moment for us. And this is something, again, I call it the entire relationship, sort of activities that are associated with the visit, getting encapsulated with a rich cultural dimension, I think has gone down very well back home. I think before I conclude, I must also commend our director, Dr. Vijaya, of course, once again for doing this, coordinating along with several volunteers in making this vehicle of friendship move on with steady in a very effective manner. And as today, as we felicitate each academy, as we honor not only your accomplishment but your custodianship of a legacy. I think this is the critical word, is the legacy, that you are able to carry it forward. And you have demonstrated in our own way that I see that the culture, particularly the culture, thrives when communities invest in it collectively. And that's what I think you work so hard in making that authenticity remain at the heart of each dance performance, as well as the presentation itself. So on behalf of the Government of India, the High Commission of India, and of course our own Cultural Center, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to every academy, every group, every parent and every dancer who made Swagatam, Suswagatam and Shubha Swagatam an unforgettable milestone in India-Malaysia cultural relations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your profound guidance. May I request you to, sir, to remain on stage for the felicitation of all gurus and institutions. Respective guests, the most awaited part has arrived. Felicitation to all the artists. With that, may I also invite Director NSCBICC, Ms. Vijayalakshmi Sundarajan, to join His Excellency on stage. First, I invite Mr. Thillairaj Ramanathan, President of the Temple of Fine Arts, Kuala Lumpur, to receive the Certificate of Appreciation from His Excellency High Commissioner. Temple of Fine Arts has been a great support for all our events, especially Swagatam dance performance, National Day reception for the 77th Republic Day of India, and a ceremony welcome for Honorable Prime Minister of India. Thank you, Mr. Thillairaj. Inviting Mr. Shankar Kandasamy, Head of Bharatanatyam Faculty of the Temple of Fine Arts, Kuala Lumpur, the man who's transformed his vision into movement and magic on stage. Miss Josna Prakash, the person behind the production of the beautiful music. Without you, it will be a mute show. Swagatam. Thank you, Miss Josna. Next, it is our honor to felicitate the members of the core coordinating committee. Inviting Nattuva Tilagam Srimati Indra Manikam, Srimati Gayatri C. Ramesh, Srimati Sangeeta Namasibayam, Teacher of Indian Culture, NSCBICC, Ms. Priyadar. Cultural event. Thank you for all your support. Thank you very much, Dato. I request all the guests to remain on stage for a group photo session. Thank you, members. You all may please be seated. Now I invite the institution representatives to receive appreciation. Pradesh Academy of Arts, Devi Maheshwaran Dance Studio, India Hayham Foundation also performed. Next, inviting Jayashree Varadalayam, Kalaikutam Arts, Kalpana Dance Theatre, Club Bharat Kuala Lumpur. Bharat Club also performed at the Selamat Datang Modi Day by singing national anthems. Kshetra Academy, Lasya Fine Arts, we will have a group photo session.
Okay, 1, 2. Okay.
Thank you, leaders. Nutri Heart Culture Group, Padma Nirtalia Arts, Benares